Hi, I'm Peggy at Headshots by Peggy, and today we have the amazing color coach, Jill Kirsh, with us. And this is going to be very enlightening. Jill, it's been a while since you've been on my vlog. I'm so excited.
I know, I'm so excited to be here. I saw one of your interviews the other day that was just amazing. And I was like, wow, it's been a long time, and there's actually a lot to talk about given the world situation right now, and for actors and for Zoom and on camera, as far as what I do. So thank you so much for having me again.
Oh, thanks for coming. I really believe, as a photographer, I think color says so much. I've always believed that. And actors always want to look their best, but sometimes they want to portray a particular role and they don't want to look their best. So they need to know what colors for both scenarios. But I'm going to let you kind of take charge of this because I know you've got amazing things to tell us. I'm just so excited.
I know, I'm so excited too. And especially for actors, I mean, the point that you brought up, I call it like a double whammy for my actor clients, because I show them all of the colors that make them look fabulous and wonderful and all the good stuff. But then for character work, color is an amazing tool to extend a character. Say like over the arc of the story, you go from doing really well to losing everything, or at the beginning you have nothing and then you become the queen or whatever. You can convey a lot of that character via color. Bad colors, knowing your bad colors in a interesting way is almost as important as knowing your good colors for actors.
I agree.
And when I, would work in person with actors and we would look at their clothes and they go, oh, I know this is no good anymore. I know, I get it. I'm going to get rid of it. I go, no, don't get rid of it, because you can use that for an audition for a specific kind of character.
Exactly.
It's not, you don't want to use it when you want to like look wonderful. So there you go.
Well, yeah. I was, you did my colors. I spent almost 4 years ago, I think. Gosh, it's been a while.
I can't even, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. So I know that we had fun and we were in person. You had all these colors and fabrics and we just had a blast. But I am glad that we get to at least join each other via Zoom. So thank God for technology.
Well, I'll tell you something, and I was going to get into this. In fact, I was going to post something about it. Everything I did was in person. I would go to the client's home, to the studio. I'd be on TV. I'd speak. Everything was in person. And then when all of this came down for everyone all over the world, I was like, I don't know if I had an idea to see if this would translate online. And so I kind of tested it out, because I would never book a client on a virtual session if I didn't think I could give the client a really, really good product, because I can't be there putting colors up to your face, right? Anyway, so I tried it and it has been amazing. Amazing. It's like, and I'm going to show you a little bit of this. Like, I'll hold something up to my face and our palettes are totally different, right? And you're going to see it looks like horrible next to me, and you're going to see what's really good next to me. And then you can think with it regarding you. Anyway, so, I mean, I had a guy from London the other day. There was a woman in the Bahamas I did, I mean, it's just like, it's opened up a lot of things. So I feel like I can provide a lot to people right now, because it's truly like everything that I've been telling my actor clients for like, I don't know, 20 years in LA about being on camera and for your auditions and for this and that and all that. Well, now everyone is on camera. Everyone is on camera, whether it's like Zooming with your girlfriends or family things or whatever, or doing auditions. And so it's the same kind of thing that I've been talking about, but targeted to a very specific public.
Yeah.
And I know you have so many performers on this platform, and but this whole thing goes way beyond actors right now. It's like
right, business.
Anyone
Everyone needs to know this.
Exactly. I mean, in all the webinars that are going on now, I mean, I've watched some of these and the people are just dropping gems. I mean, there's amazing things you can learn, but visually, they are like
Mhm.
not nearly as present and creating the kind of impact they can, totally because of what they're wearing and because of the background that
Mhm.
they're standing in front of. Um, what I've experienced myself and also when I watch these is that when you're wearing the right shades of color, it just contributes or enhances the message because it enhances your presence. So the idea is what you're wearing should pull the focus up to the face, bring out the hair, and then the message you communicate in words is just going to ride that wave. Do you see what I mean? Instead of like, this doesn't work and that, and it's a distraction, and all kinds of stuff. And what you wear is as important as what you're in front of. And we were talking about this earlier, like for my background, it's not terribly interesting at all. In fact, it's very flat, but for what I do and what I like wear, like white, I wear black, I wear navy, because I hold up so much color
Mhm.
that anything I would introduce as one of my great colors that I wear in a TV interview or something is going to be fighting with what I'm trying to communicate to the client. Do you know what I mean? It's either going to overpower it or it's going to clash with it, or so I just kind of come like in this very neutral space
You're
and
the,
then
blank
create
slate,
from
the
that.
canvas.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
as a photographer, it's so important that the outfit, the background, the everything, everything works together to point right here. This is where the
Exactly.
people's attention should be. And that's you're teaching people what colors to do. And you don't just talk about skin tones, you talk about hair color, you talk everything plays into it. And
Yeah. I
that's what
mean,
I find really
hair color for me is the driving force. Like for women with foundation, 110% you match your skin tone. End of story. You just do,
right.
you get it from your favorite manufacturer, blend it into the jawline. That's all about your skin tone. But for the eyes, cheeks, and lips, it's entirely based on your hair color. And I put this system together basically having been on camera a lot. When a camera is going to come in close, your hair is what's framing the picture. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And if you incorporate it into your color choices, it's kind of like you get a frame. It's not like, oh, you want a color that's going to match your hair. It's like, what is the result of working with your hair color, right? And what
Mhm.
it does, it really brings out your features and there's like a focus on you, and it's great. It's great. And then I give this to a client 100%, 110%, and then if I do these one-on-one sessions with people, they always have a line to me. You know what I mean? Like if they want to show me something or whatever. But the truth is, you do this one time, unless you change your hair color drastically. So, like if we flipped hair colors, or I decided to go red or
Uh,
gray, which is like a revolution all over the world, where I hear from people that they decided to go gray. And a lot of people are going gray because of the world situation right now in more ways than 12. Um, and many of them are embracing it, except if someone has been dyeing their hair, say a reddish brown for 30 years, and they go gray, everything for clothing, for makeup is horrible with the gray. And then I get people sending me like photos of themselves, like, I don't know why nothing works, everything worked before. And, but it also opens up a lot of major possibilities and new chances to really play with some color. So it's great.
that's
Great.
I'm not too many years away from making that decision, I think.
Yes. Oh, darling, I so understand. I mean, people say, oh, but the roots, this woman was telling me like the roots were coming in and she didn't know. And she contacted me. She found me. I'm actually interviewed on this award-winning documentary, which has been amazing, called Gray is the New Blonde. And so people have been seeing it and I demo something on it and they've contacted me. So she contacts me and she wants to do a whole session. She's thrilled that I can do this with her like virtually. And she wants my opinion. She had maybe an inch of gray coming in, but
Uh-huh.
she wanted my opinion if she should go gray. And because I've had so many clients that are salt and pepper or gray or whatever in the last couple of years, what I've learned is it's an incredibly personal choice. You know, it's absolute commitment. It is like a total commitment to do it. And she didn't want to do it. I mean, I could tell she didn't want to do it. And I certainly wasn't going to tell her she should do it at all. She's very blonde and she loved it. But anyway, so we hooked her up with all the right colors for her hair, which was a light, warm blonde. And she was over the moon and happy and all that. But if someone does want to go gray, I can absolutely make it sing. Do you know what I mean? Like really, really show them how to work it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also for a character, if you're doing something for an actor with wigs or aging over a certain period of time, you can enhance, like say you have a gray wig and whatever, but your hair color at the beginning of the story was like a reddish brown. You can still look fabulous and make the gray work when you enhance it with the right shades up to your face.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
So do you have some examples for us? I know that we've done, over the years, we've done some fun things. We've photoshopped different colors on celebrities. We've done all sorts of things over the years, but do you have anything to show us today?
Well, I don't have, I mean, I have things that you probably have, and I can send you some JPEGs if you want to show them, but your work was so amazing with the Photoshop. Basically, what we're talking about is from the award shows back in the day when people would kill it on the red carpet, except from my viewpoint, these gorgeous women were not wearing colors that really brought them out. So we Photoshopped just the dress, not the skin tone, not anything else. And it was pretty major. I mean, people still talk about those photos. Someone said to me, oh God, I remember the photo, and you'd go on TV and you'd show and tell. So maybe we can I can send you some.
Yeah, I can put up a few slides of those.
Yeah, I mean, it was really, people love it because what we were doing, and you did such a good job. She's like amazing, by the way. I mean, the photo, it was like seamless. It was amazing. But what we did was take the best of the best. So these are stunning women on the red carpet. I mean, you know, already it's fabulous. And then by the changing the color, we just kicked it up a notch. It was amazing.
Yeah, and some of the dresses were just so breathtaking and beautiful.
Oh, I know.
But it was amazing to me, the difference that changing the color did, like to the whole thing. It's very empowering and exciting.
It's
what you can do with color.
It's extremely empowering. And just a real quick insert here for all the actors that are watching that are going to have their red carpet moments. What I found doing this, because I mean, I had to like scout the internet and find these photos, is that a lot of these celebs dress to work with their eye color, like to match their eye color. And most of the shots, not all, but the huge majority of the shots are long shots, right? Full body shots, pulled back. So you really don't even see the eye color. So I've seen some amazing women wearing, I'm thinking of one actress with these gorgeous blue eyes. And if I'm looking at her like this, and I'm looking at the top of the dress and the eyes, it's like amazing. But most all of the shots of her were long shots. Mm-hmm. And the color, like it was like having light blue eyes, and they did a light blue dress. It's so amazing. This was years ago, and I still remember this, was just washing her out. And so we would Photoshop the dress. It could still be blue, but a blue that really enhances. So of course it's still going to bring out the eyes, but it does amazing things with like the deep honey blonde of her hair that that pale blue just didn't do at all. So FYI for your red carpet moments, okay, really incorporate the hair color, because it just creates the most impactful photos for sure. For sure.
Right, because red carpet is more of a full body, or at least a 3/4, and or wearing a fabulous dress, it's kind of about the dress, you know, your whole being, not just a close up on your face. And that's a really good tip.
Exactly. I mean, even for actors, for headshots though. So like, you know, you're like here, I will tell you that if you want to go blue and you have blue eyes, or you want to go green, like I do green sometimes when I go on camera, because I know that the green is gonna immediately bring out the eyes, but it's a green that just works with everything, you see?
Uh-huh.
So I'll give you an example. Someone I know from New York, she interviewed me, and she's a redhead, this long red hair. And we're doing this whole thing, and she's taking off the top and coming back on camera, and she edited it. It was adorable. But anyway, she inserts one of her headshots, okay? And she's on camera, like live, wearing a good color for her, right? And I'm on the other, so it's like this Zoom kind of thing. And then she, bam, puts a headshot that she was using for real, right? In probably the worst
Oh,
color.
wow.
So I look at this, and it was like almost like a pale gray or something in the red. And next to it, I'm seeing in real time her in teal blue and the red hair. And it was just, so I said, why didn't you, I didn't even know she was going to do that. I said, well, why didn't you wear that color for your headshot? And she said, because I didn't have you then. You know, I didn't know her then. But it was, so you saw right side by side, an old headshot and the same size image of her live. Totally different communication, totally. So this is it's a really cool tool. You know, this is a really great thing for anyone on camera to know.
What kind of quick tips can you give people to, my viewers? Clearly, they should all check out your website, and I'll have all your information in the description below, and get a hold of you. But what are some things that they can do, just right now? What can they start looking through their wardrobe and thinking about?
Cool. So why don't I give a few tips pertinent to each hair color?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So just to give you an idea here. Okay. So for my coloring, which is like the dark brown, say if you'd gone green, okay, that's a good green. Whereas here, not so much. Do you see the difference? Here, it's like a really good balance. And here, it's just a total washout.
Kind of
See?
pull, yeah.
This is fabulous for like deep honey blondes, for redheads, amazing. The thing that's also cool is that you don't just get one green or one blue, you know what I mean? You get a whole group, but within that color palette. See, this kind of a green is a wonderful color on like a light warm blonde, like Anna Faris or Kate Hudson or like Reese Witherspoon. See the difference on me? This looks like super cheap and harsh and all that kind of stuff. And then this one is a very minty green. It's a very blue green. And see, for me, this is not changed. It was much brighter a few minutes. Anyway, this is a little bit of a washout for me. Whereas, and this one is way too yellow. You see, so these are both, forget about it. See, but this one is great. So this kind of color is great if your hair is dark brown, black, salt and pepper, silver, okay, which is a whole other thing from gray. Gray is much like a much softer gray, like a Helen Mirren kind of gray, whereas like, who do we know? Like silver, like Jamie Lee Curtis, it's like there's a little more depth to the color versus silver, versus the gray is a little bit softer and more of a flow. So here's the teal. See, this is great on you too, this one, okay? This is a teal blue. And this has a lot of yellow in it, whereas my blue is more of that. You see the difference? This looks kind of dull and heavy. It just so blows my mind how well this communicates on Zoom. I hope you all see it at home. But do you see? It's like, it's really interesting. It's really interesting for me. And then once then you just know, where to go. Even like accessories, I grabbed a couple of things. So like, these colors are great on Peggy. These are gorgeous, like the teals and the warm and the orangey colors. This one is much better on me. You see that? See, this looks what I call like scarfy. It's like just throwing on a scarf. This is fashion. This is taking the color and bringing it right up to your face. So real quick aside, I had a client who was buying a lot of these scarves and who I did online. And I was telling her, oh yeah, my clients like throw on a jean jacket or whatever and throw a scarf around their neck and it's like nothing, right? And she says to me, she's telling me how I should be selling scarves now. It's great. She said, I'm buying these scarves because I'm going to be doing, this was in the summer. Little do we know, we would still be doing so much Zoom. But she goes, I'm going to be doing a lot of Zoom in the fall. And what I'm going to do is throw on a t-shirt and take your scarf up around my neck. End of story. Like, easy, because they take a few of your colors, right, into one item. Okay, let me give you another tip. So if you're going for red, let me find those reds. Oh, here, I'm going to show you two that are like pretty far from each other. But like this red is more of a rose red. So this is like a bluer red. And this red, Peggy, this is more of your red. See, that's a very orangey red. Neither of these are mine.
Right.
It's great for Peggy. Even out of the corner of my eye, I can see the gold in your hair, how this is just picking it up. Whereas my red is more of a really, where did it go? Nothing like live action here. My red is a true red, which is probably underneath something. Anyway, but the, for a deep brunette, a really clear red, like deep, good words, like for my colors are like very clear, true, jewel like colors. White is even like, see white, the white that I wear is like a dead white. Whereas on Peggy, I would go more toward like a champagne or an ivory kind of.
Right. I can't wear white, and a lot of people can't because it drains their, drains their color out.
Exactly.
I
So
can't wear white because I am a 3-year-old and I get everything on my white. But
right.
aside from that, I shouldn't wear white either.
Yeah, it makes a big, big difference as far as like people like ask me a lot of times about black. Okay, so I say we never take black away from anyone for fear of, I don't know what. I do show you good substitutes for black. However, you can definitely wear black. You just want to know what to do with it. And the shades that I have for the eyes, cheeks, and lips, whichever palette you're in, will really help black. But if you take, like, see, for Peggy, if she was going to wear black, I would say take something like, and you wanted to do black and white, instead of going into like a dead white, I would go more into this, which is more of a champagne kind of white. Whereas mine would be even could be even whiter. Yeah, this one, like white. No, you see the difference? I'm looking like at the camera, but you guys see the difference? It's white, but there are a lot of different shades of white. Like a lot of times, people say not to wear white on camera. And I've seen white. In fact, I've worn white on camera and it's great. So,
well, the reason is though, is sometimes with the white balance on the camera and depending who else is in the scene, it can really throw everything.
For a scene.
And black also on camera will suck the colors out. So those are, you have to really be careful and know what you're doing if you're going to wear white and black and have other things to kind of pull that out, or it can cause issues for people if they're in a certain situations, lighting situations, or, everybody else is wearing dark and then there's the one white. So that can be, so you got to be careful, if you're thinking about on camera, but if you're thinking about like working on set, that should be wardrobe taking care of that. But you should be thinking more about auditions and how to pop, or your independent projects, how to convey. I think Jill left. I think Jill left the building. Jill,
I lost you.
I'm talking away and you're like, you have this look on your face, and I was like, oh my God, what am I saying that's crazy? And I was like, oh, she's frozen.
I told you, your thing totally froze and then the whole thing went away.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back to
Good.
Talks by Peggy's vlog. We're talking.
It was so funny. I was like, where'd she go?
Yeah. No, I was talking away and I glanced and I'm like, what does that expression mean? And I was like, oh, she's frozen. God. Okay.
Oh my God. I've never had that happen. Okay.
Huh. There you
go.
To day after election.
Right.
Everybody's
So
using all the bandwidth trying to figure out what's going on.
exactly, like what's going on in this country, world. So did you hear what I said, or should I say it again?
I don't know what, I think I heard what you said,
I
but
don't
maybe
know.
you should say
I
it
took
again.
it from what you said. You said something about black. And
Yeah.
then I told a story, which I can tell again, that there's a woman named Judy Kerr, who's written a book called Acting is Everything. It's amazing. It's a great tip thing for actors. Anyway, I've been in her book a lot, and she invited me to come and sit in her scene study class, which I love doing because my whole background is as an actor. So I'm sitting in the back, and she has a big screen, and these two actresses, I can't even believe what a impression this made on me, because this is years ago, and they were both very light blonde, both of them, and they were both wearing black, just happened to be from head to toe. It wasn't like, I don't even think it was a character choice. It was anyway, whatever. And I'm observing this from the back of the room, and I'm telling you, there were two talking heads. End of story. The black was so devouring, so solid. Do you know what I mean? That it engulfed the whole presence, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good for the scene. It wasn't, it was so, it was just so interesting for me to see that, because their coloring, the lightness, the hair color, it was just, it couldn't balance it. Do you know what I mean? It couldn't support it. And what it did was devour them. You know what I mean? They're just like
Absolutely.
talking heads. It was very interesting, which had nothing to do with the work they were doing, like to communicate that. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it was a causative choice.
Exactly. And people don't realize how distracting it is. I know, growing up in the 80s, you're always told wear black, it makes you look thinner. Well, it doesn't.
Not
A,
necessarily, not necessarily
um,
at all. Yeah,
but a lot of times it will pull the your natural colors out of your face. It'll make you look worse unless you
yes,
really know how to wear black and you're wearing it
exactly,
in the right situation. So
exactly.
I
And
always, as a rule of thumb, say stay away from black and white, just because that's easier than going through. Let's see, can you handle it? So that's
yeah,
my rule of thumb: creams and grays, but not navies. But okay, you're the expert.
exactly, exactly. I get it. And every palette, like my whole concept is divided into 4 color palettes. Every palette has what I call, I mean, they're neutrals, they're darker, they're light colors, but everyone has what I would call substitutes for black. So if you can see like this palette, see there's like
Uh-huh.
an eggplant color in here, okay, which is great for this palette instead of the black. There are some of the browns that can be more of the neutral colors instead of black. And I find, which is such a color don't, people in this palette, okay,
Uh-huh.
tend for some reason to wear a lot of pale gray, which is probably one of the worst colors. I mean, when I do shoots, when I do before and afters, I put this palette in pale gray for the before shot. Okay. So that's been a big thing for me. I'm specifically remembering someone where I did a remote shoot for this TV show, and we had 4 gals, one from each palette. And she goes, redhead, what do you mean I can't wear gray? That's my wardrobe, and it's fascinating to me that it's like, it's not just like, it's just really a bad color
Yeah.
choice, And the thing that's also really cool with this is you can buy like inexpensive stuff. I mean, mass market, whatever, like Costco, Target, any of this stuff, little t-shirts in the right colors. And I will tell you, they look like you got them at a pricey boutique if it's the right color.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the verse side, you can spend a lot of money and not look so hot at all. Like for a redhead, a pale gray cashmere fabulous pashmina sweater, whatever, is not going to work as well, and especially in person for sure, but on camera for your Zoom meetings,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to so minimize your presence. And you could just get something in your color that's a cheap little nothing top and just rock it and just look great. It's very this whole Zoom thing, I mean, it's like, I know that it's going to continue. And hopefully we won't be in this situation for too much longer. However, and people will start, they are a bit already going back to work, but Zoom is not going away. It's just
Zoom's
not.
not going to go away because we have literally opened up. I've been a speaker at 3 times. I've been a speaker in a global conference. I was
Wow.
scheduled to speak over by the airport, over by LAX at a conference room. It was just a conference, and then the pandemic hit, and they pushed it back a month, and then they opened it up on Zoom and opened it up to the world. And now we've done 3 different conferences.
Wow.
And there's no way budget wise they could have pulled that off in a month's time if we all the speakers flew somewhere, or all the participants flew somewhere. So it's kind of, we realize we have this tool, we all know how to use it now. There's no going back. Why would I get in a plane to do a 4-hour conference when I could do 3 4-hour conferences in the same amount of time from the comfort of my home, or from an office, or a professional studio that doesn't require air flight and hotels. So and same with the actors. As much as everyone hates self-tapes, it's here to stay. It's just too easy for the casting directors. There is going to be a time and a place for in-person auditions, especially callbacks, and maybe bigger parts, series regulars and leads and so forth. But as a rule of thumb, you're still going to do a lot of self-tape auditions, and you lose that personal thing that you get in the room. So you have to use everything at your disposal to capture that casting director. And one of the ways you can do that is make sure your character is wearing a color that screams, I'm that character, and so the casting director can see this person on the other side of the camera as that attorney, or as that mom, or as that doctor, or whatever it is. And you do that with the whole package.
Very interesting. It's very interesting. I'll tell you a quick story. I mean, someone wanted me to send a self-tape because I was doing acting for years in New York and LA. And then I started doing so much with this, and I was like, oh, I'm going to kind of play around with this acting thing. Anyway, so I had never done, this is like behind the scenes with me. I have never done a self-tape. I've been on camera so much, but I mean, you walk into a studio and it's all fabulous, and to do it myself, I don't even, I've made it so significant. So like, oh, I know I can't do this by myself. I mean, anyway, the other day I'd come off, I don't even know it was a client. Anyway, and I was in the vibe and whatever. I said, that's it. I'm doing this. And I put the phone in the middle of the light and the whole thing. And I did it. And I did it a few times. And I have a pal who's an acting coach and all that. And she talks about self-tapes, and don't work it to death. You don't need to do like 50, you know what I mean? Right. And I just like did it. And the doingness of it was it was one of those aha moments in general, where you just do the thing that you're like, I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to be bad. I don't know what to do. All of this stuff in the mind, right? And then when you do it, it's like, that was great. You know what I mean? I mean, it was just one of those, it's very, very interesting. So first of all, I have such affinity for performers. You know what I mean? It's like, I want to give you everything that I know, because number one, I know it works, and I also know, I mean, as an actor, I did a SAG, like low budget, where you're never going to get paid, a long time ago. And the character age, right, like the character age maybe like 10 years. So we're not talking like a whole thing. I did the whole thing with color. End of story. I changed the makeup colors. I changed the clothing colors. I changed the jewelry colors. And I'll give you another tip. For someone who is like Peggy's coloring, or like redheads, or like golden browns, gold jewelry is really good because it extends all the warmth of the hair color. Whereas with my coloring, or gray hair or black hair, silver. See, look at me. See, this looks so cheap. These are really cheap, but I mean, this looks really garish and cheap. But this could be silver, it could be platinum, it could be whatever, right? So for this character, instead of doing, I remember this, the silver, which I had before, I did gold, right? So it's kind of like off and a little brassy and all of this stuff can help an actor build a character, you know, change the character, take a character in a certain direction. It's just another tool for an actor. Do you know what I mean? And it's an important one. You know, this acting coach who I worked with was shooting her new headshots, and we had done her colors, and deliberately for one of the colors, she wanted to look like the no makeup and the, you know, like down and out kind of thing. She did all the wrong colors because she learned what were the right ones, and she got that communication across in a headshot because she positively wanted to look like that. It wasn't like she made a mistake, and you know what I mean? So it's another point that you can control, you know, in your career. And yeah, it's a great one. I mean,
it's really hard for an actor to submit a headshot that looks like you're on top of the world and, you know, all empowered and, you know, wonderful and looking perfect, and you're submitting for a role as a down and out. It's kind of hard to see that. So that's where you use the color to come in and like, okay, I'm not going to wear, you know, this, I'm going to wear something that's not that powerful, and, you know, bring your economic status down. Like you said, it looks cheap. It looks, even if you're wearing the right color, a t-shirt can look like it's, you know, a designer t-shirt.
Totally.
It could be from Old Navy, you know, but it's still, you can, because it's the right color. So on the reverse, absolutely. And I see it all the time in the studio. I love, by the way, working with people in the studio that know you.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, I love taking headshots of people that come in that are like, oh, I follow Jill and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh yeah, come on in, we'll have fun.
Well, I mean, I've heard from photographers, because I've, you know, gotten referrals, I've referred, you know, whatever. But when an actor comes to a shoot and they know the right colors and they bring wardrobe that are the right colors, you're 10 steps ahead of the game, because you're not trying to fill so much with the light. It's like you're presenting, like you're doing your part for the photographer. Do you know what I mean? And I say, take the swatch book. Oh, which I haven't talked about. This is a swatch book. This is my colors. These are little swatches, like little pieces of fabric, and you take it and you go shopping, or you go online shopping, and you match up all your colors, and they all work together. Like I've curated all the colors that go in here. So these are, whoops, Peggy's colors. See?
Yes, I have my, I didn't bring it down. I have it upstairs.
It's okay. Here it is, right?
And Mary, we have Mary's swatches. We have everybody in the house has their swatch book from you.
That's right. So I have curated all the best shades of all the colors. So I say, take the swatch book with you to the shoot, because background colors are equally as important as what you're wearing. I mean, if like, I would not have someone shoot me in, if they was doing outdoor, okay, in front of like a brick building, okay, because that's very warm. I would do it more like, say, in front of a chain link fence, you know. And then you hear also from photographers that I know, because now, I mean, things have been online forever now, but now it's like on steroids, right? So every shot is it's a thumbnail shot. So you really want to pop. So you can even lay in a background if you don't have the background of one of your colors. I have a shot on, I think on my Facebook, just as it's a screen grab from a talk show that I did. It was, oh, that's a nice shot. And they had a little graphic like Guru of Hue. And I said, I'm going to throw that up there. It so happens that behind it was royal blue, okay, which is a really good color on me. So I'm sitting right in front of royal blue, and it's great. But if you put someone, say, in front of royal blue that's not their color, it would totally, you would lose them. Also, an actor contacted me who had the swatch book, and he wanted my viewpoint on, he was changing for his self tapes, his background, like you do different curtains and stuff. And we picked a color that he wouldn't have done before at all, you know? So, yeah, it's kind of like I give it to you 100%. And you can always contact me, like if you have a question or whatever, but it's kind of like, you know, you become the pro. You get it and you see it. And then the reaction, you know, someone posted on Instagram, yeah, yes, and this is what I wore to my callback, my Zoom callback. And so then I shared it, and it was an orange. And she's in my palette. This was funny. She's in this palette of color also. And you notice there is one orange. Whereas, say, like in Peggy's group, see, there are more like orangey kind of tones, right? So, but she knew, and so the orange that she, like, if she was starting to go into, like, you know, these burnt oranges or something like that, it wouldn't work. But she nailed it in the right one because she knew from this book. So she did the callback. It was great. It was.
And those little swatch books are handy. I mean, I carried them in my purse for the longest time, and we still, when we go shopping, when Merrick wants new audition clothes or just new, you know, going out clothes, you know, he'll say as we're walking out, "Did you grab my swatch book?" I'm like, "Yes, I
love
grabbed
it.
your swatch
Yeah.
book." You know, because it's so helpful. Yeah, it's
And it's interesting also because now that, you know, people are shopping online, I've never really even been an online shopper. I mean, my daughter, my husband, everywhere, but I'm not. But however, when people shop online, they lay the swatch book right next to the computer all the time, and then they can match up. I will tell you, FYI, I did a project for someone where I had to choose colors for these t-shirts. And I said to her, I am not committing to any of these colors. I chose a bunch of colors. They have to send me a sample of every color before you start doing quantity. I cannot tell you how different the colors were when they came. I was like, you know, and so that's the big thing for me. I mean, especially on my website, like when I show color with the makeup, with the scarves, with the swatches, I mean, especially with the makeup, we took a lot of time to make sure that the colors were as close. And I know they're different monitors, but I wanted to give it my best shot. That's what you were going to get. Do you know what I mean? Because colors online can be very deceiving.
And that's, you know, I used to print pictures. You know, we used to take pictures, print pictures. People would come look at the hard copy proof.
Right.
But now that's not how it's done. Now everything's online. And so sometimes people will say, "Oh, but this is a little off." And it's hard to explain to people, no, my monitor's calibrated for print. So whatever you're looking at it on, it's just off. And so people have to be really careful about judging hues on their cell phone and their laptop versus what's going to come in the mail. So that's a great point because that's so difficult.
Yeah. I want to ask you something as a photographer. So have you done shoots online at all?
No, I've done consultations online.
Yeah.
I have done, but no shoots. I have talked people through self tapes because, you know, I do self tapes here in my studio, and I do have people that come that are starting to come even, you know, as things are opening up, but not like before the pandemic. So I've talked a lot of people, like I've been on a Zoom call and I'm like, okay, no, move your light here. Okay, put your camera here. And you know, or even, you know, read with them via, because when you're that's completely at home alone, it's tough to get that self-tape done. And it's tough if you, that's why I always tell my viewers every day, do a self-tape just to get the technical side of it and keep your chops up. Yeah. But once you get the lighting figured out and the angles, then it's, you can concentrate on acting. But it was really overwhelming for a lot of people over the last 7-8 months. And so I've done those kind of things over line. but I
Wow,
haven't.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Really. That's
Yeah.
great because it's a whole, I mean, from my day, back in the day when, you know, black and white headshots and all you worried about was like the texture, the neckline, the this, the that. Then it goes to color.
Yeah.
That was a change. And people were so, I remember doing something at AFI, like at the SAG
Uh-huh.
Conservatory. Um, and a lot of people brought their headshots to show me. And it was like, I mean, this was years ago, but color had just started. It was happening already. But anyway, and I'll never forget this woman. She gives me her headshot. She's sitting in a grassy area. Okay, so you have a lot of green going on. She is a redhead. Okay, so already we have a lot of information. Then the colors, I don't remember what she was wearing. I remember the makeup was not anything to do with the hair color. So it's kind of like I didn't know where to look. You know what I'm saying? It was so
Instead of drawing you to
dispersed.
their features, it's like overwhelming. You feel like you're like, what's happening?
I know. And the thing that I tell actors
That's
all
what
the
color
time
can do.
is the headshot is about you. Do you know what I mean? It's not about how interesting the background is. Do you know what I mean? It's about really about you. And I will tell you, even as I hear myself saying this, that's what Zoom is about.
Mhm.
Also, it's not about, oh, what book is in the bookcase behind her? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's like you want to be front and center because I will tell you, your message is so diluted with the distractions, you
Mhm.
know, whereas it is so enhanced when your presence is kind of pushed out there, and you can do that with color. I mean, it's amazing, and a lot of people know it, and a lot of people don't know it. And the feedback that I've gotten, you know, about the Zoom thing and about they see it, like people see the difference. I mean, I hold up a bad color or a good color, and it's like very real. So funny. I had someone the other day whose colors I did many years ago. I did her whole family, and she let her hair go gray, but it was like a salt and pepper gray. And she gets on, and she was craving color because the hair color now, she used to have like similar hair coloring to you,
Uh-huh.
right, to Peggy, and now she's gray, and it's like a salt and pepper gray, and she wasn't sure, and so she's been wearing, what did she tell me? Black, navy, and white. That's it. Those happen to be good colors for salt and pepper, but she was craving color. I mean, it was like she just didn't know. And so instead of like making a mistake or like spending money and wasting it or whatever, she just didn't do anything. And I could see when I'm holding the colors up to me, she's having this aha moment. It was so lovely to see it, like really being, she was so excited. So I sent her swatches and makeup and all, but she was so empowered by this. And I find doing sessions with me, you know, it's a very fun, I mean, it's lovely. It's great. It's kind of like I'm hanging out with you at your house doing all this. But even just getting a swatch book or whatever, the whole thing is very empowering for people. And I could see out of like my peripheral vision that something happened in her universe. Do you know what I mean? She was
Yeah.
like, she came up from when the whole thing started. Do you know what I mean? She like, now she has the knowledge and she knows and she has a direction. That's the other thing. I mean, there are like a bazillion choices out there for sure for makeup colors. Oh my God. I mean, there's like a zillion manufacturers and colors and clothes and things and information and information. And so once you know what works for you, then you're more causative, you're more in control of it, and you don't waste money. And this is all the things people are promised all the time. It's going to save you
Yeah.
money, it's going to save you time, but it's true.
It's
It's
true.
like it's really wild. I mean, I know it, but then I, you know, get the feedback. And the other thing, which I've been hearing as a recurring thing, especially with the Zoom thing, because people want to come across well. You know, they don't have that like hug or that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we have virtual hugs like a lot, but people have been saying how it has simplified their life. That's been a very recurring thing recently. Either people have been looking, you know, they search online. I mean, there's a video that I have, it's actually on my website also. Someone followed me from NBC years ago to one of my clients' houses in Venice for a gray hair woman was there. My client was a redhead. I opened the door, I had the dark hair, and we do this whole makeover thing. And it was like, it was amazing, like that you can see immediately. Do you know what I mean? You just kind of see the difference. And where is she? From the UK the other day. She didn't even go through the website. She saw this video and she has that hair color, except she's totally at wit's end, at a loss, just how to do it. And now that everything is on Zoom and she wants to look really good, you know, whatever. And it just, so it's really simplified. It's really simplified things for people. So
That's exciting.
I love it.
Well, Jill, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I know that this is really, really helpful information for all of my actors, because it is something that's simple. It's something that everybody can do. It's something that everybody has control over, and it's something that is tangible, that they can, you know, change quickly and easily and make a huge difference in their presentation. And your headshot is a presentation, your audition is a presentation, you know, your social media, all those things, colors matter. So what an honor to have the guru of hue with us.
Oh, please, thank you so much for having me. This was like amazing. This was so much fun. I mean, you know, obviously, I mean, I'm working with people that have nothing to do with the industry, you know, but I have such a passion. First of all, I have such a passion for what I do because I know what it does for people. And actors are my, you know,
little soft spot.
Yeah, true, it's true. So I'm thrilled to be able to do this. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we appreciate it. And please, everyone, leave tons of comments. And of course, all of Jill's information is going to be in the description below, so you can contact her directly, leave comments, share this with everyone you know. Most importantly, have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week. We did it.